They're in camp.
How's it going?
You see a person?
¿Dónde fuiste? Ay.
Echoes call from hollow halls, a voice that creeps and softly crawls. Time stands still, the air is.
In her latest video uploaded on June 17, 2025, Nomad Unknown begins a new chapter in her nomadic lifestyle. After 8 months of living in her car full-time, she openly shares her feelings of burnout and the decision to pivot towards what she calls her dirtbag era, a phase where she focuses on staying in wild spaces for longer periods. She sets up camp at a secluded site, choosing a more private spot where she can comfortably cook and spend most of her time at the back of her vehicle. Although briefly touching on safety concerns, she remains mostly lighthearted, emphasizing practicality over fear as she backs into her site.
I always like to have the most private side where I'm backed into, because it's where I spend more time, you know, cooking out the tailgate and stuff like that. I know a lot of people say back in for safety so you can pull away. Like, dude, if somebody's blocking me in, does it make more sense to ram them with the front of my car or the back of my car? Back of my car. That wasn't a question. Front end damage, I might not be able to drive anymore. Back end damage, probably can still drive. I'm not messing around, you know. If it comes to that, it'll come to other things. All right, this is a great campsite.
Despite the serenity of the setting, she shares a very recent terrifying encounter that profoundly impacted her. While solo camping in the Bridger Teton National Forest near Grand Teton National Park, she experienced an extremely close call with a grizzly bear. Recounting the experience, she describes how she had been casually troubleshooting a video upload at the back of her car when a full-grown grizzly suddenly appeared about 10 feet away, quickly closing in. Her instinctive reaction was to move immediately, placing her car between herself and the bear. The grizzly advanced to within 6 feet of her before she managed to round the vehicle.
So the other night, I was ever so casually standing at the back of my car. I wasn't actually cooking, I was just troubleshooting something on my phone because I was trying to upload a video. I had my chair back there, just hanging out like I usually do, and something caught the corner of my eye. And I looked up, and about 10 feet away from me, moving towards me, was a full-grown grizzly bear. By time I rounded the corner to put the car in between me and the bear, it was probably like 6 feet away from me. Utter panic. Imagine you're just like hanging out like this, and then where that fire pit is, a grizzly walks up. Because that's what happened.
Although she had bear spray nearby, her reflexes acted before her brain had time to fully process the situation, preventing her from reaching for the spray. She emphasizes how quickly these encounters unfold, and how difficult it can be to react with conscious decision-making in the moment. Adding to the tension was the fact that several other campers were nearby. A few young men with a table of food had also mentioned hearing noises earlier, and had bear spray on hand. She managed to warn them by shouting "Grizzly" as the bear moved. The bear continued to circle her vehicle, appearing at the front of her car as she tried to figure out her next move. She captured parts of the event on camera, though the initial and closest moment occurred before filming began.
I don't have my bear spray on me. It's on the other side of my car. Oh my God. Bear! Bear in camp! I feel like this bear was trying to attack me. No, but I also didn't feel like it was just like totally cool with me. And so I wanted to run, and I did start like moving kind of quickly. And then I had to catch myself to slow down because I was like, you are giving chase right now. Like, stop, slow down, and turn around. So I did. So the video's a little bit all over the place, but at that point, I know that the boys had their bear spray in their hand, and their car was open, and I just thought I will jump in their car if I need to right now, because I was defenseless.
Describing her thought process, she reflects on how primal instincts take over in such situations. Comparing her reaction to past experiences with rattlesnakes on trail, her body moved before conscious thought kicked in. She also discusses lessons learned, particularly regarding wearing bear spray on her person rather than keeping it stored in her vehicle while at camp. After the bear eventually moved off toward a nearby meadow, she noticed a camper across the field who was unaware of the danger. She shouted to warn them, still shaking from the encounter. Other campers kindly invited her to move her car closer to their site for the night, offering a sense of security after the intense experience.
I think it was probably a little bit scared by the movement of all the other people. And I say all the other people, there's probably like 6 or 8 people in that area. And then that's when it crossed behind the rear of my car, basically where I had just been standing. You can see in the video like how big it was in comparison to like my items, my car and everything. And then it just started cutting across the meadow, and I caught somebody else in camp on the other side was walking, and it caught my eye, and I was like, they don't know. And so I just screamed bear in camp, and those are like the only words I could get out of my mouth, because I was just in like 100% fight or flight mode at that time. I wasn't like fully like, I don't know, I just felt like it was just monkey brain. I was just like survival.
She admits that while she loves solo camping, this encounter made her reevaluate how far to push her luck in grizzly country. What did you make of this encounter? Let me know. Before moving forward, do me a favor and give this video a like, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers before August, and I also got a surprise for you once we reach 100K. Now, enjoy the rest of the video and watch till the end, because there's a hidden word somewhere in the video for you. Let's see if you can comment the hidden word correctly. A YouTuber called Harbour Explores returns to the Australian bush for another exploration, this time deep in Bindari National Park. The goal of this particular hike is to locate a mysterious abandoned tent that some believe may be connected to a body discovered years earlier in the nearby creek. He and a friend set out on foot, hiking roughly 5 kilometers into the dense remote forest. Harbour shares the backstory along the way. Years ago, a man who loved to wild camp in this park was found dead, his body recovered as just a torso in the creek below. The abandoned tent they're seeking could possibly be his, left behind in the wilderness for years since the discovery.
Friday the 13th. Good date to be hiking to a supposed dead man's tent. Alright, so back to the story about this abandoned tent out here. Now apparently the body that was found in the creek further down, the fella actually, well, apparently loved this national park. He used to come out here and wild camp all the time and hike in the area, so sort of strengthens the case that this could be his tent. But like I said, we'll go have a look around, we'll see what we can find. See if we can find anything with a name on it or whatnot. Won't mess it up too much in respect to the fella if it was his, but we'll have a look anyway. Yeah, it's probably going to take about an hour maybe to get to the tent, probably not even. See how we go anyway.
While respecting the gravity of the situation, Harbour is curious to investigate and document what remains at the campsite. The hike begins with a few unsettling signs. They spot several sizable animal tracks in the dirt, which Harbour cautiously notes while reassuring viewers that he always carries a knife for protection. Eventually, they arrive at the tent, still remarkably standing after all these years. Around the tent, they find a child's backpack, parts of a broken camp chair, a travel bag, and a large hiking pack. Harbour inspects the items carefully, noting potential clues about their age. One item, a battery, shows a date code that seems to match up with the time period when the man went missing, 2005 or 2007. This suggests the tent and its contents could indeed belong to the man found dead, but Harbour acknowledges that nothing is absolutely conclusive.
Alright, here we are. It's a bit weird, eh? A kid's bag there. It's a hiking pack. Part of a chair. I can't believe it's still standing. Yeah, so who knows how long this thing's been here. I mean, the body of the fella was found, I think, 2009. So if it is his, I'm not good at maths, what's that, 15 years or so ago? Surely it can't still be standing.
Harbour remarks on the unsettling feeling of being there, intensified when they hear an odd horn-like noise in the distance. It sounds artificial, like something man-made, but neither of them can determine what caused it. As they press on, Harbour shares that he had previously considered doing an overnight solo camping video next to the tent, but after standing there, openly admits that he might now reconsider that idea. Leaving the tent behind, they continue their hike down to the creek to explore the location where the body was found years ago. The creek itself flows through a steep, narrow canyon, treacherous terrain during flood conditions. Harbour speculates that if the man had slipped or been swept into the gorge during a flood, it could have tragically led to his dismemberment.
Yeah, it gets a bit gnarly down around the corner there. I mean, if old mate slipped in here somewhere during flood time, it got washed down there a little bit, I don't think you'd be able to get out. And that would probably do enough damage to turn you into just a torso, but it's speculation, we don't know that, so. But yeah, it's a gnarly canyon. Awesome spot.
Though he doesn't claim to know whether this is true, the story adds a macabre edge to the already unsettling setting. He and his companion reflect on how dangerous and remote the area truly is, especially during periods of heavy rain or flooding. After spending some time at the creek, they climb back up to the tent and begin the trek back to their car. Harbour reflects on what they found, acknowledging that several clues, dates on the battery, cooker, and other items line up closely with the time frame of the man's death. While he can't confirm definitively that the tent belonged to the deceased man, the circumstantial evidence strongly suggests it.
All right, we're back. All right, we're done and dusted. We're out of here. Yeah, she's a creepy old bloody tent. That one out in the middle of nowhere, and I'm guessing by some of the dates and whatnot we saw on the battery and a couple of those things and the cooker, they sort of marry up to around when he went missing or he was found. So I'm guessing that probably was his tent, but still unsure, not completely sure if it was or not. But anyway, we're out of here. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Back at the trailhead, Harbour closes the video with his typical laid-back demeanor, noting that despite being Friday the 13th, they didn't run into anything overtly terrifying, no cloaked cult members or other strange occurrences apart from that unexplained horn noise. Still, the experience left him feeling uneasy, and he expresses that while he enjoys these remote explorations, there's something especially haunting about this particular site. Nicholas is a passionate fisherman and creator of a YouTube channel, Nicholas Paparo, which is dedicated to exploring rivers, testing out different fishing gear, and chasing big catches. His usual content focuses on the adventure and excitement of fishing in remote areas. However, in this video, his fishing trip takes a very different turn, one that leaves him deeply disturbed and second-guessing his safety. The day starts like any other. Nicholas is deep in the forest, casting his line along a remote river. Accompanied by his loyal dog, Lola, he appears relaxed, focused on fishing, and enjoying the quiet isolation that often comes with these trips. This is the type of solitude Nicholas usually seeks, peaceful, remote, and free of crowds. But as the video progresses, a strange tension starts to build. While filming and fishing, Nicholas becomes aware of the presence of two individuals nearby. At first, it's nothing unusual. Sometimes hikers, other anglers, or nature lovers pass by these remote rivers. Many people will stop and watch someone fishing. Maybe offer a friendly greeting or ask about the catch. That's normal. But Nicholas immediately senses that something about these two men is different.
Lola, come here. How's it going?
As the men appear in his peripheral view, they don't speak. They stand at a distance, simply watching him. At first, Nicholas tries not to overreact. Maybe they're just curious. But as time passes, their behavior grows increasingly suspicious. They keep inching closer but still say nothing, maintaining a tense silence. Even when Nicholas attempts to greet them, there's no response. Instead, they keep their distance while pretending to look around, gaze into the trees, and busy themselves with odd, deliberate movements, as if trying to look casual but failing. This odd body language only amplifies Nicholas's unease. It feels to him less like simple curiosity, and more like they're scoping him out, checking for gear, perhaps assessing whether he's alone, or if he might be an easy target for theft or something worse.
Come here. Come here.
Nicholas starts getting seriously nervous. While he's not entirely sure of their intentions, every instinct tells him that something isn't right. Fortunately, Nicholas isn't entirely defenseless. His dog, Lola, stays close by, clearly alert to the strangers as well. Nicholas suspects that Lola's presence is one of the main reasons the situation doesn't escalate further. The two men likely realize that trying anything with a dog nearby, especially one that might attack to protect its owner, would not be worth the risk. Trusting his gut, Nicholas makes the wise decision to move locations and put some distance between himself and the unsettling visitors. He quietly gathers his gear and leaves the spot, relocating to a different area along the river where he feels safer. The men do not follow, and the situation does not escalate any further. But the encounter clearly shakes him.
Woohoo! Alright, those dudes are just standing there staring at me. Sketchy! I don't know if they wanted something or what, but they were peeping me out from down the river, and then they came closer and closer, then they were just tending to look at the trees, and then they kept staring at me. Fuck. Usually people like say something or whatever, but just standing there staring, like, especially peeking past the trees halfway down the river and then getting closer and closer and then standing next to me and just staring at me. Yikes.
Were these men simply odd and socially awkward hikers, or did they have more malicious intentions? Many viewers expressed similar concerns, agreeing that the men's behavior was highly suspicious, and that Nicholas was smart to leave when he did. The encounter resonated with viewers, many of whom share their own stories of uncomfortable experiences in the wilderness, emphasizing the importance of always being prepared and of listening to your instincts when something doesn't feel right. Like always, let me know your thoughts on this encounter. In this short encounter, Mike ventures alone into the dense, remote forest of Dudleytown, Connecticut, a location infamous for its long history of strange sightings, eerie occurrences, and dark rumors of being cursed. Locals have long reported mysterious sounds, ghostly apparitions, and unexplainable events in these woods. Despite its haunted reputation, Mike decides to explore, but what starts as a casual hike quickly takes a disturbing turn. As Mike hikes deeper into the forest, he begins hearing unsettling noises behind him, sounds that suggest someone or something is following. Yet every time he stops and looks around, no one is visible. Growing increasingly uneasy, he takes cover behind a rock, hoping to quietly observe any possible movement nearby. While filming from his hiding spot, his camera catches something disturbing. A distant figure, barely visible, lurking among the trees. Mike whispers nervously, trying to stay calm as he realizes he's not alone.
Watch who's stalking who now. Who's stalking who now? Look at that. Do you see a person? Yeah, who's stalking who now? I got you now. I got you now, mother. Look at this beautiful moss, by the way. Do you hear it? Look.
Continuing his hike, the situation escalates. Mike manages to capture more footage, showing what appears to be a person moving through the trees, seemingly aware of him, yet keeping a deliberate distance. The figure avoids direct confrontation, but doesn't leave, as if watching him from afar. The silent, shadowy presence makes the whole situation even more unnerving.
Okay, ready? Tell me I'm crazy. Tell me I'm crazy. Tell me I'm crazy. Look at that. I'm by myself in Dudley. Look at that. Oh my God.
Fortunately, Mike makes it safely out of the forest without a confrontation. However, the incident highlights the very real dangers of venturing alone into remote areas, not only because of natural hazards, but because of the unpredictable intentions of other people. In places with such dark histories, like Dudleytown, even a peaceful hike can quickly turn into a terrifying experience. On June 15, 2024, the paranormal investigation channel Sorry Tugia and Erketika uploaded a video that takes us deep into a cemetery already infamous for its intense supernatural activity. What started as a standard exploration quickly escalated into one of their most disturbing encounters to date. The video opens with Sorry and her team cautiously moving through the graveyard at night. Almost immediately, they capture something unsettling, faint laughter echoing in the distance. A chair positioned near one of the graves begins to rock and shift by itself. Sorry's companion is suddenly struck by an unseen force, seemingly out of nowhere, heightening the group's sense of unease. They attempt to calmly address the spirit, inviting it to reveal itself, but receive no direct response.
¿Por qué te vas? Acércate.
Oye, ¿escuchas?
Corrió para acá. A ver, muéstrame tu tumba. Sé que aquí está. ¿Por qué te fuiste?
¡Ay, Dios mío!
¿Te dices cuenta?
¿Te golpearon, amiga?
¿De dónde cayó ese palo?
No sé dónde estaba, te lo juro que no miré.
¿Te enojaste, verdad? No te
Ah,
gusta
caray.
que te reten.
Sí te golpeó duro, amiga, ¿eh?
Por eso te enojaste. Aquí estoy, ven. A ver, ven y hazlo otra vez. Ven y hazlo.
Mira, ¿qué es eso, amiga?
¿Qué?
Es una silla. Se movió, ¿eh?
Se está sentada ahí.
A ver, pon en la parte de abajo, mía, en el puro medio pon.
Hay que bajarla de acá arriba porque es tumba. Y grabamos el
Sí,
monte.
amigo.
¿Y para qué queremos más problemas?
La vamos a bajar, amigo, porque no queremos problema ahí con la gente del cementerio, amigos.
No, y es que luego dicen que es uno, pues. A ver, aquí estoy, ven. Ven, yo vi que la silla se movió. Yo vi que ahí estabas. Acércate, quiero verte.
As they proceed, it becomes evident that something powerful is present. The chair continues to move as though an invisible entity is sitting in it or using it to communicate. The atmosphere grows heavier, with Saray pointing out the entity's aggressive reaction whenever they try to engage. The group notices that the entity seems to be female, based on the energy and the form they perceive manifesting. Saray speculates that this is a particularly strong spirit, one that does not appreciate being challenged or confronted.
Oye.
Hola.
Oye. Acá. Hola. Mira la silla, mira la silla.
¿Llegaste aquí? ¿Qué quieres? A ver, dime, ¿qué quieres? Acércate.
Ah, caray.
¿No la deja agarrar? Te estoy diciendo que vengas para acá, acércate. ¿Qué es lo que quieres en realidad? Yo te estoy ordenando que ahí te quedes. Quédate ahí sentada. ¿Qué quieres? A ver, si estás aquí realmente, muéstrate en este momento. Yo quiero verte, no quiero que muevas la silla, quiero verte. No quiero que me retes con una silla, quiero poderte ver. Si estás aquí realmente, muéstrate. A ver, muéstrate, quiero verte, acércate. No quiero que te estés escondiendo, ni que te manifiestes agrediéndome, acércate.
Mira. Y a tus pies.
Exactamente, es que está enojada, pues.
Their investigation takes a darker turn when they begin to discover remnants of what appears to be brujeria, which basically means witchcraft, scattered throughout the cemetery grounds. Among the ritualistic evidence are small coffins, animal remains, candles, coconut shells, personal items like clothing, and various other objects used in occult practices. The team observes how these items are deliberately positioned in remote and difficult to reach areas of the graveyard, suggesting intentional efforts to conceal or preserve these dark rituals. The sheer amount of ritualistic material hints at years of ongoing occult activity, contributing to the cemetery's oppressive and highly charged atmosphere.
Cuidado, cuidado. Amigos, somos 656 personas. Apóyenme a compartir, mi gente hermosa. Apóyenme a compartir y distribuir este contenido, amigos. Vamos, sí se puede. Sí se puede llegar a más compartida. ¿Cómo de que no, mi amigos?
Ay, qué asco. ¿Qué es eso?
Pues tú... no manches.
Qué asco.
Pues mira toda la brujería que hay, amiga.
¿Qué?
Hay brujería con cráneo y todo, mira.
Qué asco.
Ya apesta horrible.
Huele horrible. ¿Eso ya se reventó? Eso ya hizo lo que tenía que hacer, José.
Vean toda la brujería, amigos.
Mira, tiene cocos. Es que la tiran para esta parte porque es parte donde uno no se puede meter a sacarla. Mira, y está el ataúd, José.
Sí, ya todo eso, amiga.
Están los ataúdes.
Hay que grabar más profundo, amiga.
¿Me quito?
No. Pensé que se podía, pero no. ¿Escuchaste?
Sí. ¿Quién está ahí? Hola.
Throughout their investigation, disembodied voices become more frequent and unsettling. Whispers, laughter, and cries seem to come from multiple directions, constantly keeping the group on edge. At one particularly tense moment, Sare manages to capture what appears to be a shadowy figure sitting in the chair. Although the figure vanishes quickly, it leaves no doubt in her mind that they are dealing with an active, highly interactive presence. While moving through the graveyard, Sari observes that something seems to be deliberately stalking them, watching their every move but keeping its distance. At times, they catch fleeting glimpses of shadows darting between the trees or hiding behind grave markers. The sense of being watched never subsides, and the constant voices make it clear they are not alone.
Hola. Hey. ¿Quién pasó, pues?
¿Quién está ahí?
Buenas noches.
José, pero te das cuenta que eso como que voló.
Espérate. No sé qué fue. Hola.
Yo vi que como que voló, José.
¿No será algo en la silla?
Hola.
No, a ver, mueve esa silla para el medio, amiga. Algo de tener esa silla. Porque caminó para acá, para la silla, ¿eh? Ahí déjala, amiga.
¿Estás buscando la silla? ¿La estás buscando? Ahí está la silla. ¿Qué quieres con ella? A ver, ve.
Uy.
Habló, José. Habló. Ahí la tienes, ven. Acércate, ahí está la silla.
Mira. No mames. ¿Miraste?
One of the most intense moments comes when Sarai notices movement once again at the chair. This time, the entity violently knocks the chair over, as if enraged by the team's continued presence. The sudden escalation makes it evident that whatever force resides in the cemetery wants them gone. Sarai remarks that the spirit seems territorial, aggressively asserting that this is its space and that outsiders are not welcome. The team then hears a loud, unexplainable voice very close by. The Though they attempt to locate the source, nothing visible presents itself. The tension reaches a breaking point as the sounds continue from every direction. Shadows seem to flicker at the edges of their flashlight beams, and the oppressive air becomes almost suffocating. Saray and her team decide to withdraw from the area before provoking the entity further or putting themselves in greater danger.
Oh, un niño. Pues que la verdad ya ni sé, amiga, qué era.
Buenas noches.
Oye, oye, se escuchan las
¿Qué haces
voces.
aquí solo en el cementerio? ¿No te da miedo?
Se escuchan las voces.
A ver, aquí estoy, ven, acércate.
Ay,
Acá, por acá.
ay, caray, ay, caray.
Por aquí. A ver, ¿quién está ahí?
Fue aquí, fue aquí.
Oye, José, como que algo está hablando de acá atrás.
Uy,
A ver, acércate.
mira, mira.
Se está riendo algo, se está riendo.
Ay,
¿Quién
pasó,
está ahí?
pasó ya.
Tiró la silla.
Y tiró la silla. Yo lo miré, estaba sentado en una silla, mira. ¿Hola? Estaba sentado en la silla. Estaba sentado en la silla, amiga, ¿eh? ¿Hola?
O sea, nos estaba viendo para dónde agarrábamos.
Sí, agarró para acá.
Lo que sea que esté aquí nos
Hay que
estaba
buscarlo.
viendo, José.
Hay que buscarlo. Oye, oye. Siguen los golpes.
¿Hola?
Ah,
A
caray.
ver, aquí estamos.
No, está muy fuerte esto.
Acércate, ¿dónde estás? Hola. Es que no se mira.
This encounter at the cemetery stands out not only for the sheer volume of paranormal activity captured, but also for the combination of physical aggression, overwhelming dark energy, and the discovery of ongoing ritualistic practices. Sari's investigation provides a glimpse into just how dangerous certain haunted locations can become when spiritual activity is tied to years of dark rituals and unresolved energy. While the team left the cemetery physically unharmed, the psychological impact of what they experienced will undoubtedly linger. The reactions to this video were mixed. While many people in comments of this video seem to think this was real, many deemed it as fake. But what matters to me is what my audience thinks, so let me know in the comments. In one of his most recent and chilling episodes, Franco TV brings us deep into the Andes Mountains for a nighttime exploration unlike any other. Uploaded just a few days ago, this footage sees Franco traveling to a notoriously haunted area high in the Andes, where countless death, disappearances, and strange occurrences have given rise to unsettling legends, including tales of wendigos and spiritual protectors of the land. At an altitude of 9,000–10,000 feet and in freezing temperatures, Franco embarks on this solo investigation with an air of both excitement and apprehension. Franco begins at a Virgin Mary shrine, a spiritual site believed by locals to provide protection in these sacred but dangerous lands. Despite its beauty, the isolation is suffocating. Strong winds cut through the silence, and the cold begins to sap Franco's energy almost immediately.
8 degrees. My hands are freaking cold. All I only have is like this little thin layer of leather on my hand. But holy shit, this place is amazing. I'm trying to head back into the town. That was eerie. So it begins. I'm gonna see if I could take out my thermal imaging camera and seeing if I could see anything that's alive out here moving or any cold or hot signatures.
Franco decides to switch to his thermal imaging camera to scan the darkness for any signs of life or movement. The screen shows only the frigid emptiness surrounding him. No heat signatures, no animals, no people. Still, an overwhelming sense of being watched persists. As he approaches one of several abandoned bunkers scattered throughout the area, he finds the lock broken, indicating that someone or something has accessed the structure recently. Inside the bunker, Franco finds odd remnants: socks, chairs, a carpet and a bench, suggesting someone may have used the space for shelter. But the real creepiness starts when he hears intermittent sounds from a nearby small chapel.
A carpet, a bench, some chairs. I don't know what this is supposed to be. I want to get my bearings around this area. There's a lot of tombs, a lot of darkness things, so I'm actually kind of spooked out going through here. There is a main entrance up here, and every now and then I keep hearing sounds coming from that creepy little chapel up there. I don't know why. It might be the wind moving it.
Initially dismissing it as wind, he's soon unnerved by what appears to be faint movement inside the structure. As he examines the chapel, Franco repeatedly sees what he believes is a shadow or figure moving near a gate and windows. Wind noise complicates things, but he remains convinced something or someone is near. Switching between thermal imaging, infrared, and flashlight, he tries to capture clearer footage of the figure but struggles to do so. At one point, he witnesses a black shadow passing in front of a window, validating what he had seen earlier and sending a surge of adrenaline through him. Determined to investigate further, Franco enters an abandoned house nearby. What he finds inside is deeply unsettling. The house is filled with children's clothing, dolls, shoes, toys, and luggage, items left behind by previous occupants.
The wind gust is ridiculous out here, but there is this house that I want to check out. Now this house is particularly weird because they left all their belongings inside, and the crazy part is all the belongings are children's clothes. There's just children everywhere. They're dolls and everything. Oh God, it's so freaking cold. I wonder how many times I'm going to say that in this video. You see? And then you have a whole bunch of clothes, shoes. There's kids' shoes in here too. I looked at my vlog channel and I just found all these clothing that just belongs to random people. These are short pants from another kid.
As Franco continues his investigation, he hears noises outside, scraping sounds and unexplained movement. To his shock, he suddenly notices lights turning on inside another distant building he had passed earlier. What's more troubling is that he had seen no lights prior, and hadn't encountered another person for hours. He even spots a car entering the area, raising his concerns about who else might be present in this remote and hard-to-access location. While monitoring the newcomers from a distance, Franco maintains his composure, but his concern is palpable. He explains how odd it is that anyone else would even know how to find this area. He spots their headlights far up the mountain, tracking their slow movement. Meanwhile, he continues to explore and observe shadows moving through windows, confirming multiple visual sightings of figures he can't fully explain.
Nope, I'm seeing something. It looks like lights. Turn off my IR, you see it? Oh, there's a car. Somebody just came in here. Oh. I hope they're not part of the people with the lights. I have been out here for hours and I have not seen a single soul out here. The thing is, this place is really hard to find. So I don't know how the heck they even found their way up here. It is so windy right now. Sorry if my voice sounds muffled.
Returning to the house, Franco bravely explores further using night vision, which reveals even more unsettling details. Handprints cover the walls, as though children or someone desperate had been repeatedly touching the surfaces. At one point, his camera abruptly stops recording, adding to the growing list of unexplained phenomena. The episode reaches its climax when Franco captures one final sighting of a shadowy figure at the window, similar to what he had witnessed earlier. He admits to viewers that although terrified, his curiosity had driven him to continue. However, the escalation of both supernatural events and the unexplained arrival of unknown people prompts him to finally end the investigation.
All right.
If you're still watching, comment the hidden word scary.
Look at the window. You see? I knew I saw a shadow. I saw the same thing earlier with the GoPro. Oh my God, it's just... Hold on, let me cover the mics. A big breeze just came in. I just saw a black shadow right in front of the window. I had seen somebody right there.
In his closing remarks, Franco reflects on the rich but dark history of the region, known throughout Chile for its tragic past. He expresses his intention to return, but recognizes the potential danger of not only the spirits but also unknown human elements. As he heads back to his car, drained and freezing, even in his final moments on camera, Franco thinks he spots something lurking one last time, reminding both him and the audience just how unpredictable and terrifying the supernatural world can be. With this final encounter comes the end of another episode. If you haven't already, let me remind you again to like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment about what you liked and didn't like about this video. We always look to improve our video quality so you get the best videos possible. In about 3 seconds, there will be more disturbing videos on screen for you to watch, and with that, I'm out.